This is Hot Mic.
Hot Mic
On the networks of WDAY.
WDAY.
Here's Dom Izzo.
Welcome back, everybody. Hour 2 on this Friday morning around rock and roll. We appreciate Corey Provis giving us a few minutes as always. Great stuff there. His appearances each and every Friday brought to us by Welton's Tire Service out of Lisbon. Great stuff there. We appreciate their sponsorship of the program. We're waiting for Dane Jackson, hopefully, to join us. No, he's busy. They got, okay. I'm being told, so hopefully he's got the reminder to do it. So we'll wait, and hopefully they'll be able to come to pass. Now, he was officially introduced yesterday as the new head coach and spoke about a couple things that I thought were really interesting. You know, and the big one that I know Brad Schlossman asked him during the press conference yesterday, asked Bill Chaves this as well, was on the I guess the non-turnover of staff, going with a guy that was already been on staff. Why was that the right way to go? What was the, why was that the best way to go about things? And I thought Chaves actually answered Cullen Holt on this as well. Says you were not in the meetings. You didn't hear what Coach Jackson had to say. And lo and behold, there he is joining us here on this Friday morning as the new head hockey coach at the University of North Dakota, Mr. Dane Jackson. Coach, how's it going?
Good. Sorry about the tardiness. That's a dollar fine on me.
Now, I don't know if you remember me. We both were in Glens Falls, New York in the spring of 2006. I was covering the Adirondack frostbite way back when.
that was good times. That's going way back. That was right before I joined UND.
And same here before I got to Fargo. So the world is so small. It's just crazy. But for people that don't know about the United Hockey League, what would you tell them about what that league was like?
Ooh, I had a lot of learning to do. I'd just been an assistant, and that was a lot of learning about roster management. I had no assistant coaches. I had Bags as my buddy. My equipment man was also kind of my assistant general manager, and yeah, it was. Well, we had some good players there though, and it was a decent level, but there was not a lot of, I guess, let's say, support like we have here at UND.
Well, is the best way to describe it for those guys that they played pro hockey and they were just trying to keep playing professional hockey? Is that the best way to describe it?
Yeah, I'd say probably they weren't getting rich. Let's put it that way. They were playing for the love of the game, and we had a lot of good fun there for sure.
Tell me about what the last 6 days have been like, and just after finding out your head coach to where we're at right now. What's the best way to describe it?
Oh boy, yeah. Well, I guess people have asked me about this kind of the head coach thing, and I guess I kind of say to them like, if I was the guy that was just worried about my position, I would have probably left. I guess if I was an ambitious guy, probably 15 years ago, when I had some opportunities to leave and go. I've always been here just kind of for the love of the program, because I think it's such a great level to coach at. The one thing that was a little bit disillusioned me a little bit in pro hockey was that, you don't get a chance to pick your players, right? So you get given a bunch of players, and it's still rewarding because you try to coach those guys up and help them grow as hockey players and young men. But it's pretty transactional. Guys come and go a lot. They're moving every couple of years. Coaches get hired and fired. Where that was why I kind of loved UND. I love the UND because of it's my alma mater, and I care so much about the people and the place. But I really loved the kind of process that you get guys for, generally, 4 years. Guys love the place. They buy into the culture, everything else. And so you get to really kind of influence young men, and you get to really be part of the total process. You get to recruit the guys. You bring in the good players that you want that have the right attitude. Then you coach them up, and then you play the guys that play the hardest and play the best. So I really was just kind of love that. So that's a long story to say, being head coach is cool. But I guess I've thought being an assistant coach is unreal, and being an associate coach is unreal. I love the culture. I love the place. I love the people I work with here, and that'll just continue with me as the head guy, just in a different chair.
Dane, what would you say how the style of hockey is going to be for UND now with you as head coach?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we're true to our identity. I said in my press conference yesterday, when I got recruited here by, Kerry Eads, Dean Blaze, and the head coach Gino Gasparini, they talked so much about kind of the UND culture, about the logo on the front is more important than the name on the back. It's about playing for something bigger than ourselves. It's about being tough, being competitive, being selfless. Like that's what it meant to play here, and that really resonated with me. And I wanted to come play here. And I think we have talked about it. I want to make sure that we're recruiting the players that are really buying into that. Our day-to-day message of how we practice, how we compete, how we show video is always kind of being our North Star, being those kind of identities on kind of how we build our team, how we reward players who are playing the most, the guys that are showing that kind of identity on a day-to-day basis.
You got my attention yesterday during the press conference. You mentioned hiring a general manager, which I know is happening in college football, in college basketball. How prevalent is it in college hockey? Are you guys one of the first to do this, or is it more known that I think of?
Yeah, I think it's I don't think it's really been done much, And again, it's all in the title, but I really believe it. I'm not just trying to be some trendsetter or something. I really see that there's so much, so many duties outside of the core coaching. Like as we coach, like as we prepare practice, as we do individual video with guys, as we prepare team meetings, as we practice all those things. Those are the core coaching things to try to drive home our standards and details about how we play the game. But outside of that, there's so much these days as far as, alumni relations, dealing with donors, raising money, roster management, all of our incoming recruits. Are they ready to come in? Are we kind of developing and talking to those guys? Are we doing a great job with our players to make sure that they want to stay for the 4 years? There's just so much on the personnel side that it's, we're going to have a person do those things, but we're going to, we're the rest of our staff, the other three kind of certified hockey coaches are going to be, supporting and still involved with those.
Yeah.
But I think it'll help us just kind of be more targeted in our recruiting and how we spend our time. Say, hey, we're going to be coaching the guys on the ice, but we're going to have these meetings where this general manager that's kind of just targeted and handling these things are going to say, hey, Jax, I need you in on this meeting at this time. Hey, we need two of our main coaches to be out there watching this player in the next week here is making a decision. So I think it'll just make us more efficient, more targeted, and more kind of dialed in on everybody's tasks that we have to do. And it's just kind of a restructuring and a refinement about how we spend our time and resources.
Being a Canadian, can you tell people how big a deal it is now that the Canadian junior players are now eligible to play college hockey, and how that can explode your player pool in the coming years?
Yeah, we gotta own Western Canada again. We gotta do a great job there. We gotta know all the player pool. We gotta know all the agents and coaches up there that kind of run things. But it's always been a real strong suit for us at UND. We have to do a great job of getting back in there because the player pool in Canada, back in the day was the best player pool. Now USA Hockey has gotten so strong,
Really good. Yep.
It's equal to Canada in my opinion. And with the CHL, like probably I'd say 85 to 90% of the best players were going to play in the Western Hockey League in the CHL. Now those guys are all available to us. So that opening of that, like 85% of that pool is huge for us. And we got to do a great job to make sure that we're on the cutting edge of that. Doesn't mean we're not going to still recruit high-end guys in the United States, but we're going to, that's kind of in our backyard. Kids that grow up in Winnipeg, Saskatchewan, even Alberta and BC. Like those guys they know about our program. They know that we've had, Johnny Taves and Jake Sanderson and top players that have come through there, and those guys know about us, and they resonate. That say, hey, we know that we're very hockey centric here at UND, and those kids kind of resonate with our kind of development and our emphasis on the hockey side of things.
I know you mentioned how transactional professional hockey is. The college world's heading in that direction, though. Now, is you just hearing you list off the things, and we cover it here on a daily basis. How different is it for you when you got into college coaching in 2006 to where we're at now in 2025, where it's got to be night and day, right?
It really is. And, there's been different kind of waves of different things happening. I remember like when I first came back there in 2006, if we needed 7 players for the next year, we were basically going out to find the best 7 players that year and the year up. and then it kind of went to this young recruiting, which, we had to kind of adapt and figure out how that worked, and then it kind of went to some of the stuff of kids, they once like back in the day, if kids were verbally committed, you didn't talk to them,
Yeah.
but then it came, the Big Ten team started saying, hey, like, RADs are telling us you better recruit everybody that's available. They're not under a national letter of intent. You're recruiting them. So then that was a whole new wave where you said, no, you gotta recruit kids and keep recruiting them. And then we got into the phase of some of this portal stuff, and then now there's the phase of the CHL stuff. So there really has been a lot of different waves of way we recruited, and it's just who's adapting quickest and doing the best job of the current model. So you got to be on your toes. You got to be adaptable, and you got to be kind of ready for change.
The expectation level, is sky high at the University of North Dakota. You see in the Frozen Four next week, there are going to be 2 NCHC teams. You play in the best league in the country for college hockey. How do you get UND back to being a regular factor at the Frozen Four?
Yeah. Well, I talked about it a little bit. We've obviously done a good job in our league, winning 6 of 12 league championships, but we're not measured on that. We're measured on national championships. And one of the things I spoke to, and I'll speak again, is kind of being absolutely driven by that no excuses process based strategy about just saying, hey, like, it's all in the work and the detail. If we show up day by day by day, and we have a process of putting huge importance on how good our meetings are, how good our workouts are, how good our practices are, I really believe the wins will take care of themselves. If we kind of commit to getting good players that are working and digging and focused and driving day to day, at the end of every year, we're going to be playing our best hockey. Whether or not we, like this year coming up, we're going to have a lot of new faces on the front side. Hopefully our decor is veteran and strong, which is a good place to start. We're going to have a lot of new faces. But if we kind of grind in daily habits and details about how we're doing things, we'll have some stumbles as we get these guys kind of up to speed. But, our hope is by the second half, we're going to be playing great hockey. And even if we don't have some of the maybe high-end guys that we've had at certain times, we're going to be so committed to a great team process that we're going to be hard to beat.
How much have you had a conversation with the guys coming back? And I know it changes on a day-to-day basis. That's something are you checking in like every couple hours on, hey, are you in, or what's that status of the guys that are trying to come back or you want to come back?
Yeah, I think we're in a pretty good spot right now with our group. But you're definitely always talking to guys, and again, we want guys that want to be here.
Right.
I'm not going to beg guys to be here. We offer a lot of great things. So if our culture and what we're talking about and what we're doing resonates with you, awesome. If it doesn't, or if money's more important or something else, I really believe in my core. It's kind of, that's okay. Like if you're not meant to be here, that's fine. We're gonna get guys that are dying to be here and play for the logo on the front, and we'll be fine. But yeah, we're talking to guys all the time, and just communicating about the plan and the message and the way we want to do things. And I think we've got a lot of guys that are excited about that in our room right now.
Last thing before I let you go, and I really appreciate the time. I know you're crazy busy. I'm interested about the level of high school hockey player around this area, North Dakota, Minnesota. Minnesota's always really good. Where have you seen that rise in talent over the last couple of years? And is that something that is escalating to the part where routinely you got to be looking at guys in this part of the world to join your program?
Yeah, well, I'll start with kind of the end of what you just said. That's got to be an emphasis. There is a lot of good players within, a couple hundred miles of Grand Forks, North Dakota. So guys that have grown up in the shadows of the Ralph Ingolstadt Arena, those guys are connected, and it's important. Like when we won the national championship team, we had, I think, 6 players on that team that were within an hour drive of Grand Forks, so that is important. If you can find national quality level players that are close here and have a tie to the program, that is huge. Going to the start of it, yeah, high school hockey is very good. It is, still obviously the league that's the closest to college hockey, I believe, is the USHL
Yeah.
and the Western Hockey League. So, some of the best players we've ever had in North Dakota are Minnesota high school hockey players. Brock Nelson, Brock Besser, like a ton of great players we've had that are, Jackson Blake recently, but so we got to do a great job on those guys. And usually the kids from high school nowadays have to kind of make that jump. So you got to take a little bit of a projection and say, well, yeah, they're playing a little different style in Minnesota high school hockey. They're talented guys, but we believe, once they grow and get challenging kind of harder leagues in the USHL, they will be ready to come play for us. So yeah, we'll do a great job of monitoring that closely and kind of making those projections when you got to take some of those shots on guys that are, more in that 11th grade time frame.
Do you plan on watching next week, or you say, you know what, we're not in it? I don't care who's playing in the Frozen Four next week.
Oh no, I care. I'll be watching
Yeah.
a lot. I am cheering for our league. I think our league has been it's incredible for preparing guys for the next level, and it's such a grind all year that when we get to that end of the year, our teams in our league are tough to beat. But yeah, I'll be watching. I'll be all with pen and paper going and kind of trying to knock down some things I'm seeing, and good coaches are thieves. We're always trying to watch what other teams are doing and some of their details, and we'll be trying to build on some of those things that they're doing well out there.
This was great, bud. I really appreciate it. Thanks for the trip down memory lane to the Glens Falls Civic Center as well. I appreciate that, and we'll do this again soon. Thanks so much for the time, okay?
All right. I wonder if Steve Levy and Barry Melrose are watching today.
I forgot that. People don't know they own the team. It's so wild.
I know.
Thanks, Dane.
Crazy.
Appreciate it, bud.
I enjoy it. See ya.
Dane
Bye-bye.
Jackson, new head coach of the University of North Dakota Fighting Hawks, who got his coaching start. Same place where I was. My first on-air job was Glens Falls, New York, covering the Adirondack Frostbite. He was the head coach. So, again, how crazy small the world is. Well, the older I get, the smaller it gets. It's just wild. Appreciate his time. Some good stuff there with the new head coach at UND. We'll break. We got a couple emails coming in. Catch up on a few things. We're in guest heavy here for the last 45 minutes or so. So we're guest free the rest of the way. So feel free. Emails coming in. Is that snow? Really? Really? Come on. Back on Hot Mic after this.